out there. Thanks to all of you for being here, and I want you to know the folks behind the cameras, I can see you, and I thank you for being here. There are other Iraq veterans here. Why don't you stand up and let us all thank you for your service in a great cause. Thanks very much to the East Hampton Veterans of Foreign Wars for hosting this event, and particularly to the post commander, Fred Schluntz. Let me say to Ed Baines, one, how proud he made Connecticut when his colleagues in the VFW chose him as the Commander-in-Chief nationally of the Veterans of Foreign Wars. How grateful I am for his support, and how much we thank him for his service. There's two great ladies in this front row with those returning Iraq veterans. What is my wife Hadassah, who I introduced earlier? I got to introduce her first, you know. The second, who I'm both honored and touched that she's here, Nikki O'Neill, the wife of a member of this post, East Hampton, and our great former governor, Bill O'Neill of East Hampton. Bill O'Neill is not feeling well, so he couldn't be here today. He sent about the best representative he could. The O'Neills and the Liebermans have been friends for years, since Bill and I were both majority leaders under Ella Grasso as governor in the 70s, and we became great friends. Bill O'Neill has served his country with honor and distinction and effect in war and in peace. A proud veteran and a great governor of the state of Connecticut. Nikki, please give the governor our best. I know you can't stay for the whole speech because you've got to go and be with him, but just from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here today. And God bless our governor. And the mayor of East Hampton, part of that growing nonpartisan army of supporters that I'm very grateful for. Mayor Ed Jackwitz, where are you? Right back there.
I'm the mayor of American Distilling.
Okay. Sorry, I called you out. I promoted you. All right, let me say a special thank you to all the veterans who are here today for your support in this campaign as just announced. Outside of the Vets for Joe, and more importantly, of course, for your service and your sacrifice to America. It's an honor to be in the same room with so many who have stood up and risked so much for our country in its most dangerous hours. If anyone says there are no more heroes today, as many people do, I tell them, just look at the people, the veterans in this room. You are my heroes. I thank you, and I thank you for the freedom that you've given us. May we hope and pray that future generations of Americans will enjoy the same blessings of liberty that you veterans have made possible for our generation. God bless you all. Thank you very much. About 10 days ago, in a speech at Fairfield University, I gave a report to the people of Connecticut about where we stand in the war on terror 5 years after 9/11. I talked about the work that I and many others of both parties in both branches of government in Washington have done to strengthen our security here at home and around the world. I talked about the work that still needs to be done in the years ahead to make us truly safe from this global threat, and about how important it is for us to unite across party lines to defeat our enemies who, after all, hate us all. Today I want to speak with you specifically about the war in Iraq, how it relates to the larger war against radical jihadist terrorists who attacked us, and what it will take to complete our mission in Iraq as quickly and successfully as possible. In particular, I want to speak today directly to the doubts many people in Connecticut have about our ability to win this fight, and frankly, even whether it is any more worth trying. I take those doubts seriously. I understand them. As I've said before, it's wrong for anybody to dismiss those who are skeptical or oppose the war as being soft on terror or unpatriotic. That's got to stop. The fact is that too many people in the debate about Iraq have sought to demonize the other side. We've got to understand as Americans that reasonable people can disagree on this difficult subject, and they can have different opinions and questions, and that does not make those with whom you disagree either terrorist sympathizers on the one hand or warmongers on the other. It is time for both sides to understand that pointing fingers and impugning motives are not going to get our troops home 1 second sooner. And it's not going to make one American safer. The way we can do that is to put aside our partisan differences, not our sincere differences over the war, to talk to each other about those differences with respect and have an honest, direct discussion about how to end this conflict, but to end it in America's best interests. That's my goal today. I want to get past the false and empty alternatives that are too often given between continuing to do just what we're doing now or just giving up and pulling out of Iraq. Both of those, in my opinion, are recipes for failure and less security. I want to put forward some new approaches today for getting the job done in Iraq. And I want to engage my opponent in this Senate campaign, Ned Lamont, in this important debate and have a serious discussion with him about where we are in Iraq now and what we do in the days and months ahead. Because this election, like every election, ought to be about the future, about what we do now and in the future in Iraq. Those are the most important questions that he and I and the voters of Connecticut have to answer this fall. I'm sure Ned Lamont and I share the same goal of getting our troops home and keeping America safe. But we have a major disagreement about how we can best make that happen. And I owe it to the voters to explain on policy grounds why I sincerely believe Lamont's plan will seriously undermine the security of the people of Connecticut and the people of all of America. Let me begin by briefly recounting how we got here. I supported the use of force in Iraq to remove Saddam Hussein from power because I believed that he was a grave threat to our country, his people, the region, and the world. And I continue to believe that decision was right. Since then, I've often disagreed with how the war has been run, and have not hesitated to speak out about the mistakes that I think the Bush administration has made. Mistakes that have made this war more costly than it should have been. But I've worked hard to stay away from partisan political attacks because that is unacceptable when our nation is at war and our troops are on the battlefields. The administration was wrong for not securing the support of enough of our allies in the run-up to the war, for not having enough troops on the ground after Saddam was overthrown, for not having a sensible plan to win the peace and establish stability in Iraq, and for not putting Iraqis more quickly in charge of their government and their economy, including the Iraqi oil supply. In October of 2003, almost 3 years ago, I made my disapproval of our post-Saddam policies clear by calling for the replacement of Secretary of Defense Rumsfeld. Those critical early mistakes, especially our lack of troop strength to better secure Iraq and its borders, continue to reverberate today, as in some sense the national intelligence estimate that was reported on yesterday indicates. The failure to build a large international